So we had a note in Memphis, Tennessee that we was performing, and then it went non-performing after 6 months. And unfortunately, we had to foreclose on the family. And when we took the possession back of the property, it was a complete disaster. Black mold, none of the toilets working, and I could not actually sell it to any investor. I couldn't. We marketed it to the local RIAs, put it on an auction site, and so I did hire a rehabber who I'd worked with in the past and had done a fairly decent job on some other houses for us. And unfortunately, just because they do it in the past doesn't mean they do it in the present. So they falsified some photos of the rehab. We got to our third draw before we realized that there was not any work being done. So, and I'm on a lawsuit with them, but that's not the point of this discussion. So we had to hire a second rehabber who got us 90% of the way through the process, and then they went out of business. So I hired a third rehabber, and we finished the property, completed the entire rehab just before Memorial Day this year, 2017. Leased the property for a June 1st move-in, and in Memphis, that Memorial Day weekend had a massive storm. A tree fell through the house, literally cracked it in half, all the way down to the foundation.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and insurance covered that, but it took us a couple months to get that all resolved. So we have just now rehabbed the house, and it's ready to either be leased or sold. The challenge is it's in a C- neighborhood, and the property values at the original investment would have worked, but since we're in it so deep, I'm looking for advice for how to turn this lemon into lemonade. One of the things I learned here at the Paper Summit, which I really was excited about, was just that we could structure a note in such a way that I should at least be able to break even. We're marketing it right now. We've got a couple potential buyers. We were thinking about doing a lease to own, but I don't think I'm going to do that now, because as I look at the way we structured the property, the deal, I think I can sell it at a little bit below market value to move it and get a good note out of that, and then sell the note. So that's my plan. And season that note for a period of time and then sell that.
All right, so we heard this is Walter and Quincy giving a little backseat advice, right?
Absolutely. We're backseat drivers of IRAs.
There.
You know, we've been getting backseat advice all our lives, haven't we?
Absolutely.
From somebody, so we feel qualified to give it. All right, so Wayne said he's got a C- neighborhood house that it's hard to take it on with institutional financing, cash him out. He's got 45 in it. He wants to get his money back. He's willing to wait some time for it, but you know, listing it, selling it, qualifying, no good. Just no good. Mainly because the house is going to sit vacant too long in that neighborhood. Things happen like trees, right? Falling through the roof, vandalism. So we got to get somebody who could be a tenant for a short period of time, and the market rent's $800 on this house. And let's say they stay there 6 months with the hope of being a homeowner at the end of that 6 months. They will convert from a tenant to a homeowner, and at that point Wayne would get, he's already gotten some deposit as a renter. He can apply some of that and get maybe another $2,000 or $3,000 down. But the tenant has had a chance to check out the house, the neighborhood, the yappy dogs next door. They know all about it, and the house will be delivered in habitable shape, which is way different than the way we buy most houses from banks and things like that. You never know what's wrong with the house. Matter of fact, I just got a text while we were filming just a minute ago that my plumber said the house we just bought, all the copper was gone underneath, and it's going to cost $800 to fix it. So you don't ever know when you're buying wholesale properties. I don't usually crawl up underneath the house. You don't really know what's wrong with the house. Even if you have an inspection, you don't know what's behind those walls. And so you got to buy it right, basically. And so we'll fix that problem, move on. But if you got a tenant that lives in it a while and has the time and the patience to work with getting the house right, then they can buy it, and the note holder would be you, Wayne, and you would get you would get a steady income, and put it on maybe a 10-year AM, create 2 notes, create a first one for 60 payments, and the second one for the balance. Okay? That'd be another 60 payments, wouldn't it? 10 year, 120 total. And so season that, make it affordable for the tenant. Let's say we try to hit it around $450 a month, and you pick the interest rate you like. And the higher interest rates that you can stand versus the shorter amortization or longer, it's kind of a dance between those two. And you might could structure in another partial down payment when they get their tax money next year. If they're used to getting $5,000 or $4,000, they can give you half of it, and you could actually start. You can give them credit for that as if they paid that in the amortization. And I've done that many times, and it works out just fine. It reduces the payment or shortens the term, right?
Right.
And so now you got, let's say you're in there, you sell it to them for no. So this is a 12-month exit strategy for the first, and you keep the second. Let's just call it that. So you're going to have a hard time selling that note without it being seasoned.
So you have to make sure, for example, to make sure they pay with checks or some kind of evidence, so that you can document that they paid on time and their pay history and things like that.
And it doesn't need to be going to put cash in your bank account either. That's not documenting. They need to go get a money order and put it in your bank account.
That's right. Also, the value of the note, of course, will be increased, assuming you go through an RMLO, a registered mortgage loan originator. So to maximize the value for your note, you'll want to go through that process.
So it's not a taxable event thing, because your basis, including your expenses, is already at the sales price, right?
Right.
So you got a higher basis in it because of repairs. So I think it's a good way. So let's just play the numbers out. Let's say that it's a total mortgage of $40,000 to make it, and then either upfront money that you're going to give when they buy it, plus next year's tax is going to be $5,000. Can you see how that might work?
Yes.
And then, so we'll structure a $30,000 first and a $10,000 second, or somewhere close to that. And the second can be a wrap of the first. So you just back into the numbers of, if you want it to be 60 payments or 70 payments or whatever it is, how the numbers work, then you just pull out your amortization. But I would start with a $450 P&I payment, and then work the numbers from the payment. That's how I do it. So you change the interest rate. Just realize, if you got to reduce the interest rate to make the deal work for the homeowner, then it's going to cost you more in a discount when you sell that note.
Right. Good. I like that. Thank you, guys.
You got anything to say about that?
No, I think that's good.
That's a wrap.
That's good.